this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. Today I'm going to be doing a whip and chat, which is where I work on my whip, my work in progress, which is Halloween Gnome from Diamond Art Club, which I'm doing for the Famalong UK event run by the DAC Fans UK group. And I'm just going to chat to you about all things cat, fill you in on what's been going on in my world. I also have some questions that I've been asked by my viewers on my last couple of whip and chat sort of chatty videos, so I will go through those as well. So before I do that, I'll just go over what I'm using today. So I am using my Oroloa tray that I almost always come back to. I love trying all the trays, but once I find one that's sort of my favourite, I do struggle to put it down. And then I end up destashing some of the trays that might be absolutely brilliant trays for someone else, but they're just not as good for me as this one. So I keep coming back to this. I have one of my absolute favourite pens actually from Lassen Lathe Works over in the US. And I've got a DAC multi-placer on the end. And in it I have my own putty, which of course this is what I use, and this is in the pear drop scent. It's actually one that's been in there a couple of days already, so I don't know if it'll last me the whole session today, because I've been testing a new batch that's about to go live in the shop. And I've got a little trash pot and my tray here from Love Resin Crafts. So those are all my bits and bobs. And oh, have I already managed to spill something? That's disgraceful. In fact, I've spilled quite a lot of them. Brilliant work. Just being clumsy. So while I'm picking all these up, I thought I would just mention that if you are watching my videos and you have never yet purchased from Diamond Art Club, the affiliate link that I have in the description has now been upgraded. So it will give you 20% off your first purchase from Diamond Art Club. My old discount code is still available too, and that will give you $10 US or the equivalent in your local currency off your first order. But unless you're making quite a small order, that one's not likely to work out as well for you. So do check that out if you are thinking about making your first order from Diamond Art Club anytime soon. Okay, right, what am I doing? I always have to really get myself in gear for these videos because it's quite tricky for me thinking and diamond painting at the same time. Actually, I will do this bit by bit. I'm going to go through and do all this black outline first, I think. So I'll get myself set up with some drills, and then I will whip over to my YouTube app and get myself some questions to go through. Okay, let's go. Okay, so first of all, I'm looking at my kit and chat video from probably getting on for a month or so ago now, and I have a couple of questions on there. So the first few are from Jessica Wright 8920, and she said, what do you wish you'd known before you started diamond painting? That's a really good question. How addictive it is. How it would absolutely take over all my spare time. I don't know. That probably would have been just even more appealing to me. I mean, there's nothing negative about it for me other than maybe the aspect where it tempts me into spending more money than I would on other equivalent crafts because I'm just so addicted. I think there's things about this hobby that I really love that maybe would have drawn me in even sooner. So I think one of the big things for me in recent months in particular has been not just the actual diamond painting, although I love that, but the community that's building up around it. The friends I've made through, first of all, meeting people on Facebook groups to do a diamond painting and then chatting privately, that kind of thing. I think that would have drawn me in even sooner because that's been a huge part of my life the last couple of years is you know, chatting to these people that I never would have otherwise met. And I'm no stranger to that because I think I'm someone that does tend to do a sort of deep dive in hobbies and then, you know, I'm very all or nothing about it. So for instance, for a long period of my life, I still am a breastfeeding counsellor, but I'm not really practicing anymore. I haven't done much in recent years apart from supporting friends when they ask. but yeah, it was very similar to diamond painting in that there were a lot of Facebook groups and that kind of world, and I got to know some people through them who are now my very best friends. So yeah, if I'd known that diamond painting would be the same kind of thing for me, that would have drawn me in even quicker. And other than that, I don't know. I suppose if I had known before I started how much I would prefer to work on licensed artwork from companies like Diamond Art Club, I would have saved some money, because I did buy a few paintings, as a lot of us do at the start, that were of a cheaper quality and often unlicensed artwork because I didn't know any better. And then I ended up destashing most of those for not much money at all, or giving them away for free. So I could have saved some money if I'd known what I would actually prefer within the hobby. And then Jessica has asked, do I have other content creators that I watch, and who are my go-tos? And the answer is yes, I do. When I'm diamond painting, I always have something on. So it could be an audiobook, it could be a TV series, but then quite often it will be YouTube. So I go through phases of being kind of more up to date with what other creators are doing than others, depending on what I've been doing in my diamond painting time. But if I am in the mood for watching diamond painting videos, content creators that I particularly follow, I have a couple of friends who have channels, so I definitely follow their channels. So there's Claire over at Diamond Painting Nerd. I really enjoy her videos. And there's Jonathan at Jonathan's Diamond Painting and Stuff. I think that's what he's called. I'm sure he'll correct me in the comments if not. And he's got quite a new channel. He's just starting out. But I really enjoy watching him and really getting to know him through his videos, because he puts on a really lovely, unique, personal touch. And I really feel like I've got to know him well through watching them. And then beyond that, I watch quite a lot of channels in the US. So I really enjoy Diamonds and Washi. I often watch Emeralds and Fairy Lights. Diamond Paintings with Laura, I think her channel is. That's another one that I enjoy. So yeah, I try to limit it to not too many, just because otherwise I find my YouTube feed gets overwhelming and I end up missing the ones that I really want to watch. Oh, Diamond Painting Lisa as well in the UK, another UK YouTuber who I sometimes chat to and consider a friend, and I really like watching her things as well. So yeah. And what is one painting and one accessory that's on your buy list? Ooh. Do you know what? That's a tricky one. And the thing that makes it tricky, that sounds really bad and really spoiled, is that currently I have already bought most of the paintings that I want. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do have a wish list on the Diamond Art Club website and on other websites, although it's not necessarily as neatly done as with the Diamond Art Club one, where they have a section for it. There are things I would like. Let me see. I think I would definitely like to get some more kits from Diamond Art Studio UK. I've got a few and I really enjoyed the one that I've done so far. And they've done some upgrades, so I'd love to get more of their upgraded kits. But I should probably work through some of the ones I've got already first. If I get on well with the Outside the Sweet Shop kit that I unboxed from them recently, then I would probably want to try more of the Max Colour kits they keep bringing out. But I'm definitely going to wait with that to see how I get on with the first one, because I'm excited for the challenge, but I don't know for sure that it's going to turn out to be something that I would want to do a lot of times. We shall see. And then thinking about other places I buy from, there are a few other kits from smaller creators, smaller shops I mean, that I haven't bought from because of the costs, because when you buy from small shops abroad, they don't have the big deals with shipping companies like a company like Diamond Art Club does, where they subsidise your shipping quite a lot. So you pay it and it's a lot. So for instance, Muna Maid, I have bought one kit from her. And there are more that she has that I would like. but I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually going to pull the plug on that shipping cost again. And again, Jaded Gem Shop, that's another one that I was dying to try, and I have now got one on order. But again, it's a case of a particular painting leaping out to me so much that it was worth the shipping costs, whereas other paintings are ones that maybe I would definitely buy if it wasn't going to be so expensive, but I don't know if I'd be able to justify them at the cost they would be. And, you know, no shade on the small shops. It's not their fault. It's just the nature of having a hobby that means you're buying things internationally a lot. But yeah, with Diamond Art Club, who I buy from the most often, I do tend to buy the ones that I want on release, because I'm like the biggest sucker for FOMO, you'll meet. So I don't like waiting for restocks. Occasionally I will do that, but I don't think there's anything off the top of my head. And I have to obviously cut myself down from buying all the ones I might want to buy on release, because otherwise my entire house would be taken over by diamond paintings and I would be very, very poor. So yeah, I think I can't think of a single painting that I desperately want to have that I don't currently own, and that I know is an incredibly privileged position to be in. And an accessory, she said as well. Ooh. I like trying different things. So there are things that I've looked at, particularly in small shops in the US, and thought, oh, I'd like to try that. And then not actually done so yet because of shipping costs. I still like trying other shops' putties now and again, and there is a shop in the US called Putty Crocker's Boutique, I think. And I would like to try April's putty, the lady who runs that. We've chatted now and again, and she's really sweet, and she's even given me some tips on my own putty making. So yeah, I'd love to try hers because everyone absolutely raves about it that tries it. And then, I mean, I probably want to try all the different trays and things at some point, because I'm just a little bit obsessed with trying them. And, oh, I know what I would love. I would love to get a pen from Norse Alchemist on Etsy. They have some really, really stunning pens, but they come out priced just a little bit more than what I'm typically comfortable spending for a pen. So I haven't pulled the plug just yet. I might go and have a look at them again later, actually. No, actually, bad cat, you've spent all your money this month, because Diamond Art Club brought out more multi-places and bigger sizes, and just went and bought them all the ones I wanted. So all my cat sitting money is gone until I do some more. So yeah, that would be one that I would like to try. I just like trying new things. I like checking Etsy for small shops that I might like to support, if their goods look like they would be helpful for me. And yeah, just seeing what's out there, really. That's a very vague, unspecific answer. Sorry about that. Right. What other questions did I have? So Tracy Owen 2437 asked me a question about which storage I love the most. And I think I forgot myself and actually answered her on the video looking at this. But yeah, I'll answer that here as well. So I have two main sets of storage, or types of storage, because I have a few other small bits and bobs as well, but they wouldn't be my favourites because they'd be ones that are just useful for smaller kits that I don't get around to too often. I have the Elizabeth Ward style storage that you can see in the corner here. And I picked up over time 3 sets, I think, from AliExpress, because I just, yeah. It's incredibly difficult to actually get the original Elizabeth Ward ones, and these ones do the job just as well. So I really like those. I used to use them a lot, But I would say in recent months, I have switched more towards using Art Dot round bottle storage. And there's a few reasons for it. One is that I like to have all of my drills in one layer. So I've got one tray here and all of the drills for this kit fit in that one tray in one layer. Because I work, oh, that one's got a dodgy bottom, it's got nothing to stick to the canvas. I work sitting at my dining room table and I've got a seat to the side of me that I have the drills resting on, and that's just like what I'm used to and what's comfortable and what works in my space. So I don't like to have more than one level of drills if I can avoid it. And a lot of kits, if they have a lot of colours, just don't fit so well in one set of these. You might have to use loads and loads of the very small containers, these ones, and they're not my favourite. I prefer to use the bigger ones if I've got space. And if I use them a lot, I tend to find my thumb gets a little bit sore where I'm flicking them up, but that's just being fussy. I don't know, I like these for the display, the look of the drills in them, that's really cool. But for some reason, just recently, they haven't been my go-to as much. The Art Dot round bottle storage, I find very, very flexible because I've got a couple of cases with 60 bottles, and that's, you know, I struggle to get 60 containers in this comfortably because it would be lots and lots of small containers, and like I said, that just isn't my preferred way of using them. And then I also have with Art Dot, I've got 120 bottle storage cases, but that's 2 levels, so I prefer to use that if possible for 2 kits rather than 1 kit in 2 levels. But I also have the 240 bottle storage case, and that has 80 bottles per level. And I bought it ready to work on outside the sweet shop when I get on to working on that at some point. But it also means that once I've used it for that purpose, I have a lot of kits that have 70 something colours. So I would be able to use 1 layer per painting that was that sort of size and have 3 in there at once potentially. And it's just a nice compact way of storing it. You don't tend to fit all your drills in the little bottles, but there's a pouch in the lid, so I can keep all the extra drills in there. And yeah, I just find them really nice and convenient. And then, let's see, I've got a question from Claire at Diamond Painting Nerd, who says, first of all, your friend Claire sounds awesome. Serves me right for talking about her on these videos. She said, how did you get into diamond painting? Do you have any other crafty hobbies? And who is your favourite artist from a DP perspective? So how did I get into it? So first of all, when I was much younger, I used to do a lot of cross stitch. So my sister worked in a craft shop when she was sort of 16, 17, you know, a sort of Saturday job as a teenager. And she used to do cross stitch, and she's about 8 years older than me. So I thought that was really cool and probably copied her and started doing some. And then the lady who owned that shop was actually a bit of a family friend anyway. So I was kind of lined up to be her Saturday girl as soon as I was old enough. Like from a much younger age, it was always, oh, when you're 16, you can go work at Crafty so-and-so. And I did. So I used to do it a lot when I worked there because whenever the shop was quiet, I'd just stand behind the till cross stitching. And I took that forward then into my 20s, and I did a fair bit. I would maybe do it for a few months and then burn out and put it down. But I did always come back to it. But then as time went on, I started to find that it was really exacerbating my muscular issues. So I've talked about this before, that like I have, you know, shoulder pain and back pain and glute pain and various areas of my body that just tend towards pain. And I found that the repetitive up and down motion with the needle tended to really aggravate and tighten up my shoulder, and sitting on a sofa or something like that to do it, that also wasn't good for me comfort wise. So I just sort of gradually stopped doing it, and you know, eventually I realised, oh my God, I haven't done that for years. So I just sort of thought I wasn't really that crafty, and I'd moved on from doing that kind of thing. And then my son started school. Actually, I'm going to go over here so I'm not sticking so much. And he made a friend, and I got to know her mum a bit when we'd be walking home and that kind of thing. And she mentioned she'd done this hobby called diamond painting, and I was like, oh, what's that? So she explained what it was. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds like something that could be interesting. And I didn't do anything about it for a while, but then eventually I thought, you know what, I'm bored. I'm going to go on Amazon and see if I can get one of those to try. And of course you can very easily buy diamond paintings on Amazon, and they're not the best, but they're fine if you're just starting out and not starting to think yet about quality and licensing and that kind of thing. So I got a little 2-pack of paintings, and I started working on one, and I was just instantly hooked. It was only a little 30 by 40, and you know, by 30 by 40 I mean one where the canvas was that size and the painting was smaller, and it was very pixelated, but actually it looked fairly decent for the size of the painting. If you're interested, you can see it on my first ever diamond painting anniversary video, which was, I think, April 2022. But anyway, so I did that, and I was instantly hooked. And the thing with me is I would have to own up to having a fairly obsessive personality, and once I am into something, I am into it. So like straight away, as soon as I was like a couple of days in, when I realised I was enjoying it so much, I was ordering paintings online. I was watching all the YouTube videos to learn all the tips. I already knew straight away that I probably prefer squares, because just when people described it, I was like, oh yeah, I will probably prefer those. So I ordered some square paintings quite early on, and yeah, just totally immersed myself in it. And sort of straight away, because I'd spent so much time in a short space of time watching everything, reading everything, I felt quite confident to tackle bigger, more interesting projects. And then, yeah, the rest is history. And then through being a member of various Facebook groups, I learned more about licensing issues and the companies that people most rated. So I started trying out some of those places. And yeah, never looked back. Here I am now, 2.5 years later. And it is unlike me to just carry on doing something consistently the whole time. Like I mean, it's not like I never miss a day. I definitely do miss days of diamond painting. But the vast majority of days I probably sit down and do at least a small amount of diamond painting. It's like my evening reset, even if I don't have time in the day. And the nice thing about filming this video is that this is one of my jobs for the day, is to get this filmed so I can put the video up. So it actually means I'm diamond painting in daylight hours. I've only got about an hour till the school run, but that's okay. That's plenty of time to get this finished. So I've kind of covered the other crafty hobby bits in that. I do a little bit of messing around with polymer clay sometimes. I'm not very good yet. I do try and practice it when I can, because there are things that I could potentially put in my Etsy shop if I got good enough at it, but I'm nowhere near good enough to have saleable things yet. And I've tried various other little things over the years, but I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of it. I've gone through phases, but nothing else that endures. Like, I was really into making friendship bracelets for a long time. I mean, as an adult, because I like the braiding, and I've done beading, and obviously I've covered cross stitch. So there's been things along the way, but I wouldn't say there's anything else at the moment. I'm not artistic or particularly creative, I wouldn't say. So a lot of the crafty hobbies aren't really ones that would appeal to me, because I wouldn't know how to go about doing them. I like the ones like this, where it's creative in the sense you are creating something really pretty and you have all the fun of doing the crafting, but you don't actually have to have artistic ability to do it. That is what suits me. And then Claire asked who my favourite artist from a DP perspective is. Oh, I think I would find it very hard to narrow it down to one, because it depends on my mood, really, what sort of thing I'm in the mood for working for. But there are several go-to artists that if a piece comes out by them, I'm going to be strongly considering buying it. So Richard Lorenz is one that jumps to mind. I've actually bought 2 of his recently, which when they arrive, I will no doubt have unboxing videos for. Oops, just sticking a little bit to that AB. So Richard Lorenz, oh my goodness, I think the drill's missing a base, that's why it won't come off the pen. There's hardly anything there to stick to the canvas. I used to do a fair few Chuck Pinsons, but I sort of feel like I've done him now. You know, I've done a few in his style of art, and I don't necessarily feel like I want to do any more for the moment. But I do still love several landscape artists. So Abraham Hunter, his artwork is just beautiful to me. Dominic Davison, I think. And then thinking about more kind of abstract type art that I really enjoy. Dimitri Milan. I loved a lot of the paintings that Diamond Art Club did of theirs. Although they seem to have stopped doing those. I haven't seen a new one for ages. And Katrina Coltes. And then even more abstract-y things like Mad Art Studios with all the bright colours. Absolutely love those. So yeah, I've got quite an eclectic taste, and it just sort of depends on my mood, really. I would struggle to just narrow it down to one, because the ones that I do like can be very, very different from each other. Yeah, I think that about answers that. What else have I got? Oh, I got a question. Do you ship your putty out to the USA yet? And yes, I do. I now ship worldwide. So if you are interested in checking out my putty or anything else I have in my shop, although Coverminders, actually, I don't ship internationally, but yeah. Anyway, my shop link is in the description below, as is my shop Facebook group, Crafting Cat UK. So you can check that out if you are interested. Okay, and now I'm flipping on to my last whip and chat, where I had a couple more questions, and I've got Claire at Diamond Painting Nerd again, because she is stalking me apparently. Only joking, I love it. So she asked again which artist I'm most drawn to, which I've just covered. And then she asked, if I had to give up chocolate or diamond painting, what would I choose? What kind of a question is that, Claire? That is just cruel. Ugh. But if you're going to make me choose, I would have to say I would give up chocolate. It's actually a fairly easy answer. I do love chocolate, but I can quite often go a long time without having it, because I try not to buy it in too much because of the obvious risk of just eating it if I have it in the house. Whereas diamond painting, I would be at such a loss if I didn't have this hobby in my life. I don't know what I used to do with myself in the days when my son had gone to school and I wasn't yet doing this. So yeah, I absolutely would not want to give up diamond painting at all. And I think that's probably one of the reasons as well why I've developed a reasonably sizable stash, as anyone who has watched my stash video or kind of kept count of the number of unboxings I do could attest to. Yeah, I think I'm quite a sort of nervous person. So I worry about things like, oh, what if this shop or that shop stops shipping here? Or what if I didn't have the money coming in through things like cat sitting anymore to buy them? Or what if this painting that I really love goes out of stock? So that is, I mean, it's a justification more than anything, but it does give me comfort knowing that I have enough in my stash that I could comfortably spend the next couple of years diamond painting without running out. So, yeah. And then she asked another mean question. Do I prefer to live in England or Wales? Well, outrageous. I would prefer to live in Wales. So for anyone who doesn't know, I am Welsh. I'm from Cardiff. And I lived there my whole life until I went to university when I was 18. And then when I went to university, I met my now husband. So we've been together since the start of university. So when I finished my degree, he was studying on his second degree because he did a master's. And we'd been together 4 years at that point, so we wanted to move in together. So I moved to Oxford and we got a little flat together, and I've lived here ever since. So I would say I lived in Cardiff for 18 years. Then I was there on and off for 4 years in the university holidays. The university I went to had very short, intense terms. So that did mean I was still at home about half of the year. And there was a brief hiatus when I lived in France because I did a French degree. So I actually spent about 7 months living there. But anyway, I digress. So I moved to Oxford properly in 2006. So I've got to be approaching a point now where I have lived half my life here, and that's kind of strange. And the plan, to be honest, was always that eventually we would move to Cardiff, because that's where a lot of my family still is, everyone but my brother. And I love it there. It's a really fun city. It's big and has everything you need without being overwhelming. I had friends there and obviously family. Like Wales is just gorgeous, and yeah, it's my home. But life didn't turn out that way because my husband carried on studying, and then he eventually started working in the university here. And that's just where our lives are now. You know, it never made sense practically to move away, even though I do sometimes long for it still, and like I still have Rightmove alerts show me places in Cardiff from the last time I was obsessed with getting to move there. My son has said he'd love to live there as well because then we'd be nearer his cousins, but I think if it actually came to it, he would find it very hard to leave here because he's only ever lived in Oxford. And I mean, Oxford is lovely. I'm very spoiled. If the two choices that I would pick from are Cardiff or Oxford, then I've got lovely places to live. And yeah, Oxford is a great place to raise a child. Again, there's a lot going on. It's a very cultural, interesting city. There's things I absolutely love about it. Like, I'm pretty sure you could find any nationality of food. Well, that's not a nationality. Any sort of national cuisine. There's probably a restaurant for it somewhere in Oxford. It's a very multicultural, interesting city. And I like that. And I like that we're raising our son somewhere like that. But yeah, I think even if we live the rest of our lives here, it will never be home in quite the same way as Cardiff, where I lived in the same house my whole life growing up, where my parents still live. And I will always miss it. And, you know, I'm Welsh. And I don't have negative feelings towards England or the English or anything, but there is something about just being in your own country. And yeah. That's what I would say about that. What colour shall I do next? This one, I think. Just trying to work out what I can do that I can reach easily without my hands sticking. And then Claire asked, who is my favourite DP YouTube channel to watch, and said, choose wisely. Again, I've kind of already covered that. And a little bit, again, it's one of those things that depends on my mood, for what sort of style I'm interested in watching. But yeah, I would struggle to pick between a lot of the ones I've already listed. I like channels that show me someone's personality, and where I feel like I can kind of get to know the person a little bit through their videos. And that's what I hope that I would provide in my videos. So yeah. And she asked about paintings on a wish list as well. And I've covered that and how very, very spoiled I am, because I can't think of anything that I'm desperate to get hold of. I would love though, there was a painting that Diamond Art Club released a long time ago now, and then instantly, what's the word I'm looking for? Discontinued, called Afghan Cat. That might be one that I would say there, because I would really like that painting, but it's very popular and it very rarely comes up on destash sites. And if it does, it costs a lot of money because, you know, that's how markets work. So yeah, I doubt that I will ever get hold of it, unfortunately. Danish Puzzler asked if there's any chance I will participate in Purple Post Month 2023 in November. It's an event being run by Diamond Art Studio, and they said that they'd love to see me kit up the Hell Choreo outside the sweet shop and start on it. I don't know, to be honest. I said in my reply to her that I would consider it. I'm doing this event now, and to be fair, I will be finished with this kit long before November, I think. But I don't know. I'm on the fence. I would like to get outside the sweet shop kitted up and started soon. But equally, I'm very daunted by it, so I can see me putting it off for a while. Watch this space. I'm not a big event person. I'm doing this one because it's run by a friend and a group that I really, really enjoy, but also because I would have been doing a Halloween painting at this time anyway, really. So it wasn't any great hardship. Not that any event's a hardship. Put my foot in it now. What I mean is, I don't love the way that if you do events, it sort of narrows your options for what painting you can choose to do next, doesn't it? And I know that lots of people really like them, and that's great. It doesn't work so well for me, because when I'm deciding what painting I want to work on next, I want to be able to scroll through all of my paintings in Gems Flow and just see what leaps out at me and what I feel drawn to, and not have to be looking for a particular category. This one I would have been working on a Halloween painting anyway, so it worked for me, but I don't know. We shall see is the very rambly answer to that. And then Tracy Owen 2437 said, "Hi Kat, great video, thank you for sharing. Have you decided on what Christmas canvas you're going to be doing?" And again, I did answer it on the video, but I'll answer now as well that I have not. I have a few options in my stash. I have a magical, what's it called? A Magical View of Christmas, I think, which is a gorgeous painting that Diamond Art Club had that's now discontinued. I have a painting from Diamond Art Studio called I Choose You, which is a bit more subtly Christmas, but it does have a Christmas tree in, so it counts. And I don't actually know that I have any others at the moment, but both of those are fairly large, and I don't know. I just don't know where I'm going to be by Christmas, because I'll finish this one and then go back to beach vacation. And I don't know if I'll maybe be more in the mood for something small by then. I expect I will be looking out rather closely for any Christmas releases from the places like Diamond Art Club and Diamond Art Studio that I tend to buy a lot of my paintings and see if there's anything new that comes out. Last year I did Christmas Gnomes, or Gnome Carolers I think it was called, and it was one that came out in the autumn as part of their Christmas releases. And it was really nice and small, but also, you know, bright and fun and Christmassy. And I really enjoyed that because it was nice and easy to get done within the Christmas season. And I like to do my paintings, seasonal paintings, when they're seasonal. So the problem I have with the big ones I have is I probably wouldn't get them all done within the Christmas season, and then that would end up bugging me a bit. So yeah. Basically, no, I haven't decided. I'm waiting to see what options there are. Just checking if I have any more questions. Fiona Stoddart asked about favourite type of storage, so I've covered that one. And she also asked a question about the advent calendar I'm doing in my shop, so I'll just mention that briefly. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a 12-day advent calendar in my shop Crafting Cat UK on Etsy. I was just putting up a post about it this morning, in fact. Now this putty, like I said to you, I'd already used it quite a lot before I started today, and it's doing fine, but it's just starting to pick up ever so slightly less well. So if you ever have that issue, I mean, I can't vouch for other putties, but you may find the same works with others, but it certainly works with mine. If you rub quite firmly along the top, you'll find that you sort of break down the ridges that will have formed, and it will bring slightly fresher putty to the top, and then you should find it works again, and gives you much longer using it. So yeah, I'm doing this advent calendar. It'll be a 12-day advent calendar, and it's going to be available probably towards the end of October. It's going to be quite a lot of putty and then some other bits and bobs, and I'm super, super excited about it. I'm not going to have a huge amount of them. I think if it goes well, and then all goes well, I'm still doing all this next year, maybe I will be able to make more at that point. But for this year, it's quite a small one. And yeah, people seem quite keen. So I'm really excited. I've started making the putties for it. And I have to say, the Christmas oils smell absolutely gorgeous. Okay, that is all of the questions I think I have on those previous videos. So if you have any other questions that you want me to answer on a future WIP'n'Chat, do pop them down below, or on any of my videos, but I suppose if you do it here, it's easier for me to remember. And yeah, I will try and come back to them at a future video. So what else has been happening? Yeah. Summer holidays is over for my son. We visited family right at the end, so it finished with a bang, as it were. We went to see my brother-in-law, so my husband's brother, and girlfriend and their 2 daughters. So that was really nice. Went and stayed at their house. It was really nice to kind of get to know the youngest one a bit more, because she's, what's she, about 9 months now? So she's just, like, we don't see them that often, and she's just sort of, you know, she's at that age where she's just starting to come out of herself and be a bit more interested. I mean, she's also in major separation anxiety mode, so she was more interested in us all from afar, but yeah, it was nice to get to know her. And my son absolutely adores seeing the older one, who's about to turn 4, so still quite a bit younger than him. And he does, you know, after a while of playing with her, get a bit fed up and want to go do a slightly older child activity. But they had a really nice time. I think she's going to come stay with us this year again. Probably around Halloween, actually. So we'll have to think up some nice activities for the 2 of them. And my son is now in year 5 in school. If you are familiar with the UK system, basically means... So we have primary school for younger kids from 4 till 11, and then we have high school from 11 till usually 18. Some people finish at 16. And he is in the last but 1 year of primary school. So he's in the year where they start as 9-year-olds and end as 10-year-olds. So he feels quite grown up, I think, being in that year. And I feel like he's super grown up. Like, how on earth did this happen? He's still supposed to be a little baby. And speaking of that, this weekend, we're going to see some people that I haven't seen in years. So when I was pregnant with my son, we went to this antenatal group. It's called NCT. It's a charity in the UK that helps parents with, you know, various parenting things like breastfeeding and that kind of thing. But they have antenatal groups, and they're quite well known because it's sort of, they're known as the place where you go to kind of buy yourself some baby friends, essentially, because you pay to go on the course. And people do it because they do learn stuff in the course, but also because you meet people. And it's really helpful in those early days of parenthood to have people who are doing the same sort of thing at the same sort of time. So there were 9 of us in my group. And in those early weeks and months, we hung out a lot. You know, we'd probably all get together at least once a week. And it was so, so, so helpful, I think, for my mental health, and probably everyone else's as well. Anyway, I did sort of eventually, as the kids got older and people went back to work and that kind of thing, lose touch with a lot of them, which is a shame. But one of them, who still lives fairly nearby, has invited us all to her house this weekend as the sort of 10th anniversary of meeting each other, and the babies, as they were, all turning 10 soon. They were all born in sort of October to December 2013. So that's going to be really fun. Probably a bit nerve-wracking. I probably feel quite awkward in that sort of situation, like seeing people that I haven't seen in years. But it will be fun. It will be really nice to catch up. I've got to figure out some things to take, actually, because I need to take, you know, some drink and then some nibbles and that kind of thing. So yeah, I need to put my thinking cap on because I'm drawing a blank. I might make my honey cake, but I don't know if I've got time because it takes quite a while. I can manage it tomorrow evening. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's coming up this weekend, as is my son's football, because the football season started again. It's going to be a difficult one because last season they got promoted to a higher league, but then after that a lot of the strong players got poached by another team. So we kind of lost a lot of the players that made the team be in a position to be promoted. And we were in a similar position last autumn term, and it's a little bit depressing to be there again, to be honest, because it was a tough season and it's hard on them. It's hard because it should be fun, and it should be fun at this age. It's not about the competition. I mean, it's a little bit about the competition, obviously, but it's mostly about, you know, doing sport and having fun and all that. But it's really hard to have fun if you're just losing basically every game. So I'm just hoping the season isn't going to be too miserable for them and that they can kind of come together as a new team because we've got new members and gel, and then it doesn't spoil anyone's enjoyment of it. That would be my hope. We shall see. I've been doing more cat sitting recently. I was looking after the most adorable little 4-month-old kitten last weekend. Oh, she was gorgeous. Very kittenish and, you know, babyish. Like, she liked to nibble on my feet a bit more than I was potentially happy with. But she was so, so sweet and really friendly and playful, and made me broody for a kitten. But my big lump of a cat would probably eat a kitten if we got one. Speak of the devil, he's just arrived. Hello. He's instantly cross because the door is shut to block the sound of me videoing from my husband working upstairs. But yeah, one day, maybe when he's a bit older and potentially more mellow, I will, oh gosh. If you can hear lots of crinkly noises, I don't know if they'll be picked up by the mic or not, but the cat, who, like every self-respecting cat, is an addict for cardboard boxes, has found himself the ultimate cardboard box. Because I got this big cupboard to use to store all my shop supplies, because until now, everything has just been in boxes, so the kitchen floor, the living room floor, and I know where things are, but it looks like a disorganised mess. And it's really hard to make things look tidy when you've got big boxes of supplies and nowhere to put them. So I got myself this cupboard to start stashing some of it away in. And it came flat packed, so my husband got it all out and built it last night. Built it even. And the cat is obsessed with the box. It's the biggest box he's ever seen. It's filled with tissue paper, and he literally curled up in it like a little nest last night and just, as far as I know, slept there the whole night. He was certainly snoring pretty deeply when I went to bed. So yeah, he's just crawled in there, and that's what's causing crinkly noises if the microphone is picking them up. We had a bizarre, like, end of the summer, early autumn heat wave last week in the UK. We've had the strangest weather this year. We had fairly nice weather in June, and then July and August were just rubbish. It was quite cold, quite rainy. It just wasn't really like summer at all. And then it got to the day the kids all went back to school and this little heat wave started, and it's been up to 30 degrees, which for the UK in September is quite ridiculous. Like that's hot here, and it feels hot too because it's humid and sticky, and not many of us have air conditioning in our houses. So yeah, it was a tiring week because not a lot of sleep was had with the heat. Xander. Obviously, he's got to prowl up and down all of the tissue paper to find the comfiest bit. Oh dear, I hope that's not making really annoying background noises. I had a very exciting putty launch last week in the shop. I did my Halloween, well, the first of my Halloween range. So I've got a few things planned and more scents to come. But I launched with my trick or treat scents. So I had some suggestions actually from some lovely people who buy my products and said, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? And I basically put a few of those things together and did trick or treat putties, and they were mystery putties, and they yeah. I'm gabbling, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Basically, you could buy them just as complete mysteries, and they had a scratch off label over the scent name, so you could try and guess what you thought it might be, what kind of Halloweeny name it might have, and then scratch that off when you were ready. And I did make the scent descriptions available because I'm personally not a mystery person. Like, I like to know, like when mystery paintings come out, I'm one of those people that always goes and has a look at them. So I wanted to have that option available. So that was available on Etsy for anyone who wanted to know. But I think a lot of people left them as complete mysteries. So it was quite exciting. And I wasn't sure how it would go, but it turned out they were really popular. So they actually sold out on the first day, which was incredibly exciting for me. That's never ever happened before, and probably never will again. So I'll be restocking those next week, and then probably putting them in the shop when I do my standard weekly release on Friday, because that's going to be a non-Halloween putty next week too, just to break it up a bit, because obviously not everyone is into Halloween. So yeah, it's all good. Very, very busy as usual. But I'm getting a bit more used to it, a bit better at planning out my days and making sure that I get enough done every day to keep the to-do list feeling manageable without going overboard, you know. I'm not aiming to work full time because I still have a son who needs me to pick up from school and spend time with him. So I'm getting better at finding the balance. The other thing that we did recently that was fun, and I would highly recommend, is my husband and I did one of those murder mystery packs, which if you use TikTok at all, you may have seen them because they've been on there for a while. And I obviously fell for the advertising and tried them. But we did one when we were on our holiday and we liked it so much we instantly got another one, and we did that on the weekend. So they are really, really good. They're called Cryptic Killers or something. And it costs about £20, so it's not cheap, but they are so well done. You get all this like proper, well, not proper, obviously it's all mocked up, but it feels like proper evidence kits and witness statements, and there'll be things that you can get clues from, because the goal is always to kind of work out who's got an alibi and couldn't have done it. So you're doing things like scouring train timetables and comparing it with other information you have about people to work it out. And it's I mean, for the two of us, it took probably, I think the first one took us a bit longer and we did it over a few nights, but I'd say 2 to 3 hours for each of them probably. So yeah, we saw it as like, you know, the cost of a fun evening together, having a sort of date night at home, which is what we tend to do because we don't really have anyone to babysit our son. So generally when we want to spend the evening together, we're just doing it at home anyway. But yeah, check them out if that sounds like your kind of thing. They really are very well done, and they get you thinking, and you feel quite clever when you work something out and think, oh, it couldn't have been such and such because of this and that. And yeah, like making notes and ticking them off. I really, really enjoyed it. We're going to get another one soon. So yeah, I'm not just saying it. Is that all of that one? I think it is. And I can't really think of anything else that I have to say. Life is just pretty much working in the days, diamond painting, and spending time with family in the evenings and weekends. I haven't been so much on the audiobooks recently because I go in phases. I've been rewatching Bad Girls, which was a TV programme in the UK. I think it started in about 1999, so ages ago. But I really liked it. I have fond memories of it because it was actually something that that kind of helped me get through my year in France when I was very lonely. So I didn't think things through or look into things enough before putting my choices down, and ended up in quite a small French town where most people my age seemed to have just left. So it wasn't really a place where there were many people I could get to know and spend time with. And I did spend a lot of the year by myself in the little apartment that the school I was working in gave me. So I had a DVD player and I'd order DVDs, and that was one of the series that I watched. So I have quite fond feelings, quite fond memories of how, you know, it kind of kept me company in a way during a phase of my life that was quite difficult, unfortunately, because I really wanted to love that year abroad, but it was quite lonely. Anyway, you can get it on Amazon Prime in the UK on the free bit that you can watch with adverts. So I've been rewatching it and it's still brilliant. I still love it. And Neighbours is coming back on Monday. Any Neighbours fans in the comments? I watched Neighbours from when I was 7 until when it finished. And I was so upset that it finished. But it's coming back. It's coming back on this Monday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Neighbours is an Australian soap opera. I don't know if soap opera is a term that people use in other countries. In the UK, it means a TV programme it's like an ongoing series. It doesn't have seasons. It's just sort of on all the time, and it will be... It will focus on people that live in a particular area, and obviously it will be massively dramatic compared to real life, but it's supposed to just sort of follow their lives. So yeah, it is the TV programme that launched people like Kylie Minogue and, what's her name that was in Barbie? I keep thinking Donna, which was her name in the programme, Margot Robbie. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the new version is like. It was really tragic because I was quite behind on watching it. I just had it on Series Link recording at home. And then when it finished, I couldn't really bring myself to watch all the last few episodes because then it would be over. And at that point, I didn't know they were bringing it back. And then my husband said, have you seen they're bringing it back? Not that he watches it, but he was just letting me know. I was like, no, that's amazing. And then I managed to watch all the rest of it because I wasn't so devastated anymore. Not devastated, that sounds a bit tragic, but you know what I mean. You know, if you have any TV or book series or anything else like that that you've just watched for a long time, and that feeling when it ends, it's, yeah, not fun. I think I'm just going to finish this colour and then I am going to get going because I've got to upload all this on my computer, which takes quite a while. And then I've got to do the school run, and then I've got to get it edited and uploaded because this video I'm filming on Thursday, so you'll be seeing this tomorrow for me. Today for you, I imagine. Sorry, that was a really, really bad joke. Oh dear. I'm a bit rambly. I haven't had enough sleep. Slept really badly last night. It's making me a little bit delirious. Oops. Yeah. I also just want to have a bit of afternoon to myself to rest up as a result of feeling very tired. Got to figure out what to do for dinner tonight as well. My husband's just got back from having a couple of fillings done. So we're not sure what he's going to feel like eating. The painkiller hasn't worn off yet, so he doesn't really know if his mouth's going to feel sore. I was going to do spaghetti and meatballs, but I'm not convinced a tomatoey based sauce would be very comfortable if his mouth's sore. Right, that will do me for now. So if you're still with me at this point, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.